Welcome to Humor Highwire.
Welcome in.
Bye to Humor Highwire.
Yeah, okay. Well, we've already lost them. Anybody who's listening right now, they just went, they messed it up. Okay, we're leaving now. So today on Humor Highwire, we have two wonderful segments for you.
Two brand new segments.
Nope, these are segments we've done before, but are always a little different because we try to do different stuff. If we did the same exact thing every time, that would be weird and bad. But the first one we have is Controversy Corner, and that's going to be headed up by TheClown. So what are we covering, Mr. TheClown?
Stocks.
Really?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, today we're going to cover a small indie game company called Nintendo. There's definitely a cat somewhere in the background.
Yeah, there is. I hear that little squeaker.
Is that Pippin?
Yes.
No, that's from somebody else's mic.
What?
Oh no. My cat son is at my door and he misses me. Oh well.
That's a fine cat right there.
Yeah,
you almost got the Theo Von inflection. That's a fine cat right there.
Okay, so we're talking about Nintendo.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Nintendo and more specifically the controversy surrounding Switch 2.
Okay, cool. What's our second segment? Nobody knows.
Would you rather?
Would you rather have one or two segments?
I would rather have two segments. Lock it.
All right,
well,
cool.
We'll see about that.
Lock it in.
It's time for the Humor Highwire.
Do.
Good morning, Rwanda.
No. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah,
we love
wherever
Rwanda.
else.
Yeah. You know, somebody listened to the podcast. Somebody listened to the podcast in India the other day. So thank you, our Indian listeners.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. I don't know if that's correct.
Oh my God. I hope it's correct. I
You
really
know,
hope it's
actually
correct.
don't think so.
You know, the clown in this segment specifically is already backing us into a corner of controversy. So now's the perfect time to do this.
It's time for the Controversy Corner.
Get that out of the way. You just controversial stuff right out of the gate.
What's terrible about what I just said is I'm pretty sure the person who taught me that phrase speaks Urdu, and I'm pretty sure that's from Pakistan.
Oh my. Oh, here we go.
There's also the fact there's been this like long-standing at one point it was like a culture war in like the physical sense, but there still is a culture war in India between followers of Islam and followers of Hindu. So that's a thing as well. But
Hey,
anyway, that's not the controversy we're talking about.
Let's talk more about this.
No. Let's talk about Jumpman and Donkey Kong.
Can you see my screen? Does
can
it have
see
a
your
bunch
screen.
of? Is it just purple right now?
It is just purple
Yeah.
right now. Yes.
All right, let's see. So we got Controversy Corner. Nintendo. Is the Switch 2 a quick cash grab, or does it present a great value proposition for the consumer? Sorry.
What?
Anyway.
So the transitions.
Oh.
We're going to be talking about what's going on here. So, what is going on, guys?
Did we grow up in the 90s? I think we did.
some context for our audio listeners. I have a visual presentation. If you go to youtube.com/humor Highwire, I think it is, you'll be able to find our YouTube where you can watch this live.
Not live, but
It's so
Yeah,
live.
Fuck
Very
it, we'll do it live.
also the
Oh my
link
God,
is
I
in the
went
show
into
notes.
Trump again.
The link, yes,
The link is in
the show notes.
Link in the show notes.
And let's just say somebody earlier today said, "Don't worry, nobody puts animations on their slide presentations these days." And I felt that was a call to action to put slide transitions onto my PowerPoint / Google presentation / whatever the hell it is. And so here we are. We're at the Switch 2 announcement. There was a lot of controversy concerning, we have the pricing, right? There was the game key cards, which I'll get into later, and their communication software.
Are those the four big things?
Well, it's really three.
Oh,
Formatting
I thought it was.
wasn't my special.
Well, I thought for sure there was going to be a fifth thing on here, but all right.
No, that'd be crazy.
No query about what the fifth thing would be.
No. So on the Switch
also,
2?
I think we need to specify that this is as related to the United States of America. This does not. I'm assuming this doesn't apply to other countries.
This relates to America just because I actually don't know. From what I understand, like pricing in other parts of the world has always been more expensive than here in the U.S. Like not everywhere, but in most
not soon
places.
it won't be, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, not soon. Technically, we'll get into that. All right. So the price of the actual console
What the
was announced
hell?
to be $450.
Really?
Yeah, $450. For context, the old Switch was around, I think it was $399, so $400, or it could be $300.
I thought it was 300 when it launched.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about that is I bought my original Switch from a scalper, so it was actually $450. So this is like,
I know they had
already
like
traveled ground.
they had an OLED model that was I think close to $400 or like $380 or
Yeah,
something.
The
but
Switch
that's
one
correct.
was $300.
There you go. We got fact checking here on our Google.
Excuse me,
sheet.
you agreed in the beginning of this presentation
my
that there will be
joke.
no fact checking done.
You can't steal my joke.
Oh yes, I can.
All right, so
It was never your joke. It was always my joke. Everybody
Bryce-
says so.
We always default to Trump, don't we?
Because it's so easy,
and
and it's gonna get us so deported.
It won't, because everyone does it. Everyone does it. It's just so easy.
That's true. Stephen Colbert is still in the country, so we'll be all right.
Yeah. Let's talk about the PS5, which just jumped to $460, where the Pro is at $700. And then we have the Xbox Series X at $500, just to give an idea of where everyone's at. So Nintendo's saying the Switch is just under the quality of the PS5, technically, by what they're saying. What nobody's saying here is all three of these companies are actually losing money on well, either losing money or making very small profit margins on the console. This has been going on for a long time. Generally, the price of the hardware inside of these machines is expensive, that they generally don't sell at a high margin. All right, so on to the current specs, because we're doing this little compare contrast. The specs, I say that in quotes because the specs on their website they don't give the actual hardware information, but they give like what it can output. It's similar to current gen consoles, and by current gen I mean PS5 or Xbox Series X. I don't know why they did that. They went from Xbox One to 360. Now they got the X. I'm just tired. Oh no, it went from. I'm getting off.
It was
I'm getting off track.
Xbox. It was Xbox, Xbox 2, 360.
Was it Xbox 2?
I think so. 360, and then there was the
One.
Xbox One.
And the Xbox Series X, I guess.
Yeah, because I guess the Xbox 720 was not going to fly. I don't know. Too many degrees.
Anyway, so the current specs are shown to be similar to current gen consoles. What that means is it can run 4K, it can run just typical like HD 1440p, with a little asterisk that it includes AI upscaling. So I think that's something that all three can do, but we don't know if it uses frame gen or not, which is like something that's kind of like, it's very controversial in the gaming industry whether like frame gen is really that good, because typically it kills the quality of your image by like guessing ahead at what it's going to look like. Now it can be accurate, but the problem is that it doesn't fix the latency problem that comes with poor frame rates, because guessing ahead, it's not actually reading your inputs. That aside, to get to 4K, it is using resolution upscaling, specifically using NVIDIA, which is, you know, a leading company in AI for gaming. Okay. Switch 2, this is something that it can do that the others can't. It can be handheld or docked. Now, this is all stuff we already know. One of the cool specs for the Switch 2 and something that's important that I didn't mention is that it can run that 1440 or HD image in handheld. I believe it's at 60 frames, but when it's docked, it can do the 4K up to 60 frames, which is the same as PS5. Or it can do the HD at 120 frames at a variable refresh rate up to 120 hertz, which is cool because Nintendo in the past hasn't shown an interest in being a console that cares about refresh rate, typically because they're less powerful, at least in recent years. On that, compared to other handheld consoles, it will be the most powerful on release. Obviously, there will be something else that comes out later that'll be more powerful. We don't know, maybe the Steam Deck releases like some sort of like sequel and suddenly it's the most powerful, but current information is it will be the most powerful handheld on the market, and it will be competitive with the other home consoles that are out currently, all
It's
while
like
being cheaper.
it's like the game console version of Dragon Ball Z. There's always something more powerful coming around the bend.
True, but I don't think anything PlayStation or Xbox is coming out anytime soon. This might push them to develop quicker, though.
So I'll save my question for later. Go on.
No, go ahead.
You were talking about frame rates and
Yeah.
such. I have to verify this, but I'm fairly certain.
Yep.
I heard a factoid that the human eye can't process much more than 60 frames per second. So what is the point of having more than that?
All right.
Depends on
I'm
the
going
game.
to tell you right now.
Does it?
The
Because if your
the
eye
human
can't...
eye can, in fact, see past 60 frames per second. You're
Okay.
welcome.
Okay. So I guess we'll have to find some sources for that, because I don't want to just take your word.
That's
I don't
fine.
want you to just take my word either, but
I don't have the sources linked to that, but we will have them in the show notes.
Okay.
Or we'll post like some sort of asterisk at the end of this section here saying, actually. Go ahead, Justin.
If you look at a human eye...
I did not initially plan to have any questions, but I have heard this said a couple times, and I've just never seen the numbers for this. You did say current gen consoles are losing money or barely making any money based on current retail value. Can you tell me
Yes.
what the profit margin for current gen consoles is that leads to this statement? I've never seen the numbers.
It's either negative, where they lose money, or I believe the number was up to 10%. I'll have to look it up for you. I'm not going to do that right now. And again, I'll post a correction if I need to. So, another cool little doodad. A lot of these Switch 1 games, this gets into another controversy later, will work on your Switch 2. and some offer upgraded versions for $10 to $20 more, but have not been confirmed to work without these upgrades. One of these titles is Mario Party Jamboree. I believe that one's at the $20 mark. But essentially, you can migrate your entire Switch One library, including possibly your digital content. Not possibly, but you can actually migrate your digital content, and most of them work. I think there are 140 titles currently that either have like some weird compatibility issues or like straight up just don't start up, that might require upgrades. And those are going to be $10 to $20 more. A lot of companies will just remaster these games and send them out to you for full price. And like I say here, it can be done with your digital library, and a vast majority do not require these upgrades to play. Little asterisk, I completely forgot until I reread this. You can still play them on your original Switch even after you upgrade them. It's a shared library essentially between your two Switches. So kind of cool. Sorry, the transitions, they're so fun. Oh yeah, we should get the title in there. So we got our pricing.
Man, this presentation, it takes me back to a not great place in my life.
Dude, I felt like I was in school making like a presentation for class, except this time I actually enjoyed the content I was talking about. So again, we've got our console at $450. Now the kicker is that the games are at $70 to $80. The AAA games have. Oh, sorry. This is one of those where I should have done like the line by line, and I didn't because I thought it would be funny. So, to give some examples, the two games that everyone's talking about, there's this new DK 3D platformer, which hasn't been done for a while in DK, and that's $70. Meanwhile, the newest installment of Mario Kart World, is $80. A lot of people are like, "Oh, it's just Mario Kart. Why is it $80?" Sorry. But
What was that?
that was my impression of people who hate Nintendo. We're gonna
It was pretty good, yeah.
we're gonna just move on to the pricing of AAA games and some history. So, AAA games have been $70 since 2020. NBA 2K is the example I'm using here, was one of the first to actually adopt this strategy. And let's talk about NBA 2K and what they change year from year. What they changed year from year is possibly the roster of players, depending on who was playing in the NBA that year. And that's it. The gameplay is pretty much the same. But what they did do that was interesting is the prior game from the year before, not only are you not able to migrate the players that you've unlocked using their microtransaction loot boxes. Thank you, EA. But also you didn't.
Well, yeah, it's an EA game, so what do you expect?
Yeah, I know. But the annoying part is like it was the next year's game. Oh yeah, they cut off service before they went live with the new game, so you couldn't even play the single player campaign of the one from the year before. That's what it was. Okay. Before that, they were about the average. I need to specify that the average of these games, because we're going to get into that, the average was $70, and then before that, it was $60 about for AAA games. This is the average.
Okay, I don't like how many times you're saying average.
Oh, you're going to be impressed by my next slide, I promise you. So the accessories obviously varied. There's been an average of a $10 increase from the Switch One accessories basically across the board. Notable items here on the list, we have the Joy-Cons at $90 for a pair. Back in when I got my Switch, I might be mistaken, but I think I bought my extra Joy-Cons at like $70 for a pair. So that's interesting. The Pro controller is $85, and this is one of those like normal traditional controllers, essentially. For those of you who don't know the Nintendo like Switch Pro controller, it's very traditional shaped controller. So some people prefer that. The Xbox Elite, or whatever it's called, is around 100 to 200, and then the DualShock, which is the PS5, is 85 to 200. So it's right around the right price threshold. They're all using the same kind of technology this time around, so they've all got like the special like thumbsticks that don't get the drift. The Joy-Cons apparently do not. So that is annoying, which means you're going to be experiencing some drift after some time from the mechanical failures. So
I liked how that had no animation. It was just like, I'm here now.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
What?
I gotcha.
You put that in there on purpose because you knew I was going to say something about
Yes,
it.
I did. Read you like a book. It's crazy. Audio listeners, you really should check out the YouTube. So we right now.
Yeah, you can watch me get played.
I've got the inflation in gaming slide here, and I'm going to talk about how games have been largely inflation resistant over time. If we go back, oh my god, there it is. So, like I said, AAA games have been an average of $70 since 2020, and before that, since 2005, about $60. Now that period of time from 2020 or from 2005 to 2020, that's a long time for them to be priced at about $60. Obviously, the rate of inflation is not always increasing, but inflation is like the prices are always going up. That's how inflation works. So
yeah, I think the annual target that the Fed shoots for is around 2%. So
is
that's
it 2 or 3?
It's they shoot for 2%. So if they are getting at 2% over the course of 15 years, that means the inflation has risen year over year by around 2%. So yeah, I mean a game going from $60 in 2005 to $70 in 2020, well, like over 15 years, that's only what? That's only one like a
Without
12.
the calculator.
That's only like a 12% increase or something like that. I'm gonna calculate it now. It's gonna bother me if I don't do it. 16%. So over 15 years, the price of the game went up 16%.
Right. So a little over 1% per year. Now, a lot of people are saying, like, yeah, well, because Nintendo's doing this, now the games are going to go up to like $80 from now until the next price hike. Yeah, you're right. Now I'm going to talk about some interesting facts. Super Mario Bros. 3, released in 1988, was $50. If we look at an inflation calculator and plug that in, today that's $130. Doom 64 was $80 in 1997. That's interesting. Today it's at $160. $80. That's an interesting number. Also seems to be the number that we're mad about for Mario Kart. Doom 64. Mario Kart 64 was $40 in 1997. Today it would be worth $80. Now that's also very interesting because that's exactly the price that they've set Mario Kart at.
It's almost like it was planned. Also, for context on this inflation thing, because if anybody who's like been in the game world for a long time is like, "Whoa, so it shouldn't cost $60. It's same stuff for $70. I don't know how the economy works." The inflation rate of a little bit over 1% over that 15-year period is pretty great. A hot button topic that has been pretty prevalent in our sphere right now is the price of eggs. And from
gone down.
From 2005 to 2020, the price of eggs rose on average 2.6% a year. So almost more than twice as much as the cost of a AAA game from 2005 to 2020. So
Right.
keep that in mind, people who talk about game prices, whom are humans and people who I am not going to make snap judgments about.
Fair enough. So I'm going to show you guys an image here, and this is why it's really important that you guys check out our YouTube. youtube.com/humorhighwire. So important, guys. Check it out. Subscribe.
It's in the
Leave
show
a like,
notes.
comment. It's in the show notes. You know, comment where you are right now. Be like, hey, I went to the YouTube. Email us.
You can also just Google Humor Highwire, and all our stuff will pop up. That's the thing.
That's
too.
true. We're on Twitter.
We're on
X.com.
X.
Instagram.
TikTok.
Everywhere. Check us out. Facebook. All right, so I got this image from Toys R
Oh
Us.
my goodness. What is this? No.
Oh yeah, baby. So we're gonna look at some crazy fucking pricing that I found. This is straight up Toys R Us ad. We've got the consoles priced now. The consoles shown here for our audio listeners. We have the Nintendo 64, device that failed in like everywhere except the US, and the PlayStation. I guess like the original, like the one,
Yeah,
the first
it's
one
the
that started
PlayStation
it
1.
all. They're both priced at $149.99. Ooh, sorry, excuse me. Been drinking too much.
Hey man, everybody's got a problem. It's great that you're admitting it now. You can get some help.
Now, what I find interesting looking at this sheet, disclosure, Toys R Us was known to mark up their games a little bit. So remember how I gave you that price quote of Mario Kart 64 being at $40? Well, here at Toys R Us, it was $60. And then you've got all these other games priced at $60 to $70 to almost $80 in some cases for the 64. Now, an interesting thing, Sony came in with the PlayStation, and in order to compete with the Nintendo, and this is largely what caused the 64 to fail, in order to compete with the Nintendo, they actually dropped the prices of their games to a much lower value. So they ranged from like 40 to 60 about. So, and that's kind of what set the price until 2020. Now, Nintendo was able to follow suit with their next console, the GameCube. I actually don't have an image for that, which I'm very sad about. I looked really hard for one.
You know, you could have asked me. I have one at my parents' house.
No way.
Yeah. That I have a whole sordid story about that particular GameCube and one Christmas morning where a little boy's heart was shattered when somebody's name was misprinted on a label.
No.
Yeah. So it went to another sibling that it was not intended for, and it was the source of many fights over the years. But I had a Nintendo 64 as a kid, and looking at this pricing for these things, I don't know if this is like special pricing or whatever it is, or if this is like launch pricing. But like, I feel super
I think
bad.
this is for new games. Yeah, right.
I feel super bad for my mom now because like this is way too much for like for the time. This is so expensive.
It's so crazy. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I used to ask my mom for like Banjo-Kazooie for like my birthday or for like Christmas. And I'm looking at these prices. I mean, Doom 64 at $74.99 back in like 64 era. That's crazy. That's insane.
That's like an equivalent to you buying a AAA game for like $200.
Right.
Maybe not quite that much, but still.
And the importance of this is to show like now we're kind of like inching back into that territory where we were that at that time, but now the value of the dollar is kind of diminished at this point, like compared to where it was now, or where it was back then. So it doesn't quite hit as hard. It's kind of how inflation works. Now, notably, those consoles, the console pricing is a little weird when it comes to inflation. We could run it through the calculator. I'm not going to do that. We're already kind of like, oh, there's no title for this. Hold on. There it is. Okay, so we got our
I gotta stop commenting because that's what's driving the time on this segment so high, but like, you're doing this on purpose.
So moving on to game key cards, these are specifically like cartridges, but not really, that you can buy. They're supposed to take the place of physical cartridges. And what they are is, instead of having the software actually on them, what they contain is code that tells your system, hey, I bought this, I own it, download it. And it's supposed to be, you insert it into your Switch and it starts downloading it. So you have to have an internet connection to download it. Once it's downloaded, you're good, but I think you have to have the game key card inserted into your system. I have some interesting bullet points here. So a lot of games have been moving more digital over the past years. There's a lot of reasons for that. Some of that being, one, overhead, like obviously producing a game and not pushing it out on a physical medium is going to save you on the price of the materials used for that physical medium. And also, it's probably better for the environment. Just throwing it out there.
That I would agree with that last part there.
And just a key point for all you PC gamers out there, your entire Steam library is digital. So any of you that play Steam and are complaining about this game keycard thing taken away from physical media, your opinion is valid, but I politely disagree.
It's a pot and kettle situation happening there.
Yeah. The interesting thing, they were confirmed that the game keycards can be traded and borrowed just like physical copies while still being digital downloads. So in a way, this gives your digital downloads some extra push that other consoles don't have, because you can trade and borrow them. You could even sell them if you want.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Assuming it works.
Right. That's the key asterisk. We don't have the console out yet, so we can't confirm any of this yet. Just going on what Nintendo said. Some companies are using the excuse that their games are too big to fit on a physical cartridge. Obviously, that's bullshit. An example would be Sonic X Shadow Generations is a pretty small game, and the cartridges, I think, they can fit an obscene amount of data on them. And
there are SD cards that can fit more than a terabyte on them. So, I mean, they cost more to produce, obviously, because they hold more data. But you're talking about, tens of dollars in differentiation, and I'm assuming these games aren't terabytes in size.
Nope. And a key game that's coming to Switch 2 is actually Cyberpunk. What is it? 2077. Is that
I
name
think
of the
that's
game?
what it is. Yeah.
And it's gonna be held on as a physical copy as well. Not a game key card.
Okay, so that's a giant game that they put, and then they're turning around and going, "Yeah, Mario Kart's too big to fit on an SD card, man." I don't
Mario
know.
Kart's going to be physical. It's the Sonic X Shadow Generations. There's a Capcom library that's going to be.
Oh, you see, you know what it is then? It's not it's too big. It's I don't believe in this product enough to make physical copies of it.
Well, actually, interesting thing, now that you said that, Sonic X Shadow Generations is considered to be one of the better Sonic games in a long time. So, fun fact. It's just weird that they would use that excuse when it's just wrong. It's provably false.
Well, we live in a world where people say things that are provably false, and then people just go, "Oh, whatever." So,
Yeah.
Anyway, back to games.
All right, so
what are you doing? Oh my, okay.
What, you don't like that?
You're hurting my brain.
All right,
please.
So we got our segment on communication software. This is something that people have been asking for from Nintendo for their online games for a long time.
Hold on. YouTube viewers. There was a title on a slide, and then the information is on another slide.
No, it's the same slide, actually.
Oh my... Okay.
Sorry. So, you really got to go to YouTube, guys. I promise you.
Just to get the context for my fury. That's...
So, this streaming / chat software that they've been touting as like this big thing for the Switch. This is the one thing where I'm gonna sit here and say, "Fuck you, Nintendo." This chat software is straight up like it looks like a Discord clone, but it's their own thing, which is okay, cool. You made a Discord clone, good job. The problem is that the live, like, you can stream your gameplay. Okay, awesome. This is all native, like, to the hardware and everything, so you don't have to like whip out a phone or anything. But like, the functionality is questionable at best. So like when you're streaming your gameplay, it's got like super low frame rate. The audio is very tinny and gross, and they show it off in their advertising as that. So you can expect that's the best version of what they're putting out.
That's super weird. And also, like, why are they ever didn't the PS4 like have that baked in? Like,
yes, and Xbox, first generation Xbox.
well, not first generation, Xbox One. Yeah.
What?
So you
Communication
said first.
software?
You said first generation Xbox. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. That what you're saying is the original Xbox had streaming capability.
No,
No, it
not
didn't.
streaming. Sorry, chat. I'm talking about chat.
Oh, no. Okay, so I'm talking about the streaming thing that you were talking about. Like PS4 had
Gotcha.
that built in. You could stream to Twitch straight from your PlayStation.
So it's not to Twitch. It's like, you know how like you can. I'm sharing my screen right now through the software we're using. It's like that.
Well, PlayStation could do that already anyway, as well. Like, you didn't have to stream directly to Twitch. You could just stream, and any of your friends could pop in and see what you were doing.
Yeah, well, Nintendo's jumping on the bandwagon, except they're doing it worse.
I was like, they're doing it terribly, and worse than a console from a generation ago. So what? Why? Okay. So you keep going. Sorry, we're at 40 minutes.
Yeah, I know. This is a long segment. I'm sorry. I said it was going to be 20.
Keep jumping in. That's the problem.
No, it's fine. This is problematic because they're including it as part of a paid system that is already pretty bad. So they have a Nintendo Switch Online pass, which is not a pass. I don't know what it's actually called.
You pay for like the online subscription. The original Switch has this right now too. It's relatively cheap, actually. But
so this comes bundled with that. I don't remember if it comes bundled with the smaller price one or the big like expansion pass plus that comes with all like the virtual software and all that.
The whole thing is going up in price with the Switch 2.
The expansion? The Nintendo Online service?
The whole Nintendo Online service.
Well, I think that the expansion plus pass is still kind of cool because it's going to come with the Nintendo 64 games, the Game Boy games, and then they're adding in GameCube games, so that's kind of cool. Like, this is all stuff you can access if you have the membership, similar to the PlayStation. What do they have? They have like a live game service bundle, and Xbox has something similar, right? I think they have a lot more games, but
it's Game Pass.
Yeah, Game Pass. Yeah, I think does it give you those games after that?
No, as long as you have the subscription active, you can just play any games on the Game Pass.
Similar system. I think
there's something weird about GameCube games. You know how like PlayStation games and most games other than like N64 and like cartridge-based games were on discs, right?
Yeah.
Fully circular discs. GameCube games were on discs, but they were like half the size of a standard compact disc.
Yes.
And they had flat sides. So like,
don't all compact discs have flat sides?
No. What I'm saying is like think about a CD.
Yeah.
And now take two parallel lines and set it on top of that CD, and then the little pieces that are on the outside of those two parallel lines are just gone now, and that's what a GameCube game looked like.
I don't think any of my GameCube games looked like that.
They 100% do. You just
Maybe
don't remember.
Wasn't paying attention. All right. Yeah, I just don't agree with this being like part of a paid system. Now, the good news is for the first, I think it was first period of time, whatever that period of time is, they will be including this as a free service for even those who don't have Nintendo Switch Online services to try and hook you in. I don't think it's going to hook anyone in. So here we're getting into some of our common arguments against Nintendo. I've covered a few of these. Oh boy, here we go. So Nintendo never puts their games on sale while other companies do. This is untrue. Even hits as big as Breath of the Wild. I'm sure all of you have heard of that. If you haven't, check it out. It's a pretty cool game. It gets sales up to 30% off, but other games, maybe not AAA, but like third-party games, they can get off up to 50% or more. Even AAA games over time will go down in price. For Nintendo, the price will stay pretty stagnant over time, but they'll include like these sales over time, just not permanent sales.
Quick update. I Mandela affected myself. The GameCube games didn't have flat edges on them. I don't know why I thought that.
Yeah, I was very confused.
Yeah, I just have this weirdly weird, distinct memory of thinking I saw that at some point. I don't know. Trauma.
Where's my next? Okay, there it is.
Oh, you added some weird transitions that make no sense. So, you know.
All right. The other thing I was going to say, Nintendo first-party games also almost always release in a finished state. I haven't seen one that releases in an unfinished state. They also now get updates later, like additional content, unlike many other AAA releases, which are released in a broken or unfinished state. We can all name like plenty of AAA games that released free-to-play, paid to play, like subscription-based games in the past, like even year, and almost every single one of them is going to be like it probably released with a lot of issues and controversy.
There's a game that comes to mind every time the concept of releasing games that are broken or unfinished comes to mind. And I don't know if either of you ever heard of this game, but it's called No Man's Sky.
Oh yeah. It did get better over time.
But it took them years to build a real game, and I was so excited for it because it had that like generative like planet creation thing, and it looked so cool. I bought it the week it came out because I was so excited. And
it's a shame.
And it was awful.
Fallout 76. Lots of releases that have been, especially recently, it feels like the number goes up. Even games as big as Baldur's Gate 3 released with some issues on launch. And Baldur's Gate 3 is a fantastic game. I love it, especially at the price point. Fantastic game. We already kind of talked about Nintendo being the first to increase prices. What is going on? Why is there a delay?
You have become a victim of your own ridiculousness.
Since Nintendo is going to be the first to increase the game prices to $80, I'm sure plenty of other games are going to follow. There's already been plenty of rumors, even prior to Switch, talking about their games being at $80, of GTA 6 hitting up to $100 or more. And there are already plenty of other games that actually hit over $100. I spent $120 on Monster Hunter, and you can hit me right now for what I've done. But
now here's a follow-up question: is that $120 for the base game, or is it for like a special version?
It was for a deluxe edition bundle.
Okay, well that's different though. If you're talking about $120 for a base game, that's insane.
I didn't even want anything in the deluxe edition.
Well, you're a silly goose.
I just really love Capcom. Anyway,
that's some brand loyalty right there.
I think that what they did with the Monster Hunter franchise is fantastic. I'm skipping the transitions now because I'm getting annoyed. What the fuck? All right, we talked about game key cards and that whole controversy. I kind of covered some of this. Yeah. Fuck the communication software. Online service. Yep, we talked about this. Okay, so Nintendo is ruthless and has always attacked smaller companies or people who pirate their games. I said, yep. And those company people / infringed on their copyright or stole by pirating those games. That's illegal. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Accessories are expensive. We already talked about how all first-party accessories are kind of expensive. Quality is always pretty decent or high. I will say I have the Xbox Elite Pro Series 2, whatever the fuck it is. It's this really cool controller. It's got paddles on the back. The new Switch controller can have the paddle on the back. I love it. There are going to be a lot of third-party accessories that come for much cheaper. Obviously, if you think about it, one of the Xbox 360 controllers I always used to love to grab when I was a kid, the Rock Candy line, which was it was a third party. There are plenty
Was
of
that the
other.
one where it was like translucent and had lights
Yeah.
inside?
Yep. It was like $20 for an
Yeah.
Xbox controller. Yep. Love those things. And these are my sources. That's it.
Those are some nice sources that you have there.
I've
You'll
got
be
a
able to
lot.
find all of these in the show notes as well, my friends.
Yeah,
So
I'll copy and
please
paste them.
check them out. Check us. Fact check us.
Yeah,
Please.
and if you find any information that contradicts what we found, we'd love to hear about it. Email us, post an angry comment, whatever you want to do. I want to hear about it. And I will debate you live.
Well, you're really stuck on this live thing, man. We do
does
have
anyone
the
have-
ability. We do have the ability to do streams on the platform that we record on, so maybe that could actually happen.
Yep, I've
100%
Pull up,
viewership that we
Rwanda.
have.
and India.
And India.
And I guess Pakistan now.
Yeah, you guys gotta pick up the slack now that we called you out.
Does anyone have any questions about what I've talked about here? Any like key caveats? Like maybe some stuff I might have got wrong or like that you don't agree with? Because this is a controversy.
I mean, you seem pretty well researched on this. One thing that I will say is like quality comparison. I'm gonna have to see it to believe it because, you know, there's been some with some larger games that have come out in the recent times.
Yeah.
There were like side by side comparisons when they released for multiple consoles. I think one of them was like Hogwarts Legacy or something like that.
Oh boy.
You could 100% see a huge difference in like graphical quality between the Switch and like the PC or PlayStation or Xbox.
I don't think that even came out for the Switch.
Yes, it did. I know
Hogwarts
it.
Legacy came out for the Switch.
Yeah,
Oh,
it did.
that was a mistake.
That
it
was a
did.
mistake.
It did, and I had some friends who bought it, and
Why?
they were because they play on the Switch. They have Switch games and but they bought it for more than one console, so it was like they both wanted to play it, but at the same time, I don't know. They're weird about stuff sometimes, but yeah, they were like, "Don't do it. Do not get it for the Switch.
Dude,
it is
that game
awful."
barely runs.
Yeah,
I hate to say it. That's a great example of a game that released with problems. Now, the gameplay itself, I did love that game.
On the PlayStation, it ran very nicely.
Yeah, and it will theoretically run nicely on the Switch too. Now, the thing that the reason I'm skeptical about this whole like statement, like about their hardware being like the best for handheld on the market when it releases, is like they haven't actually released the specs. There are a lot of leaks that say, okay, this is legit, and obviously the price itself at $450 should say like, okay, we're right under the PlayStation. Like obviously this should be a contender, but I'm a little worried because they haven't posted their specs properly.
They better be right under the PlayStation. That's number one. Number two,
Wow.
that's problematic, is the fact that the Joy-Cons still have drift. I think that the Joy-Cons on the regular system, the fact that those are such a big selling point for one of the big innovations on the end arguments for the console upgrade, the fact that those things are still going to be catching drift and you're going to have to get them replaced is no good. Especially if I'm going to be paying $20 to upgrade my Mario Party game, which I'm sure part of the reason I'm paying $20 is it's incorporating a new mini game that is using the new Joy-Cons.
Nope.
Really?
What it is including, I think the Mario Party one is actually one of the more annoying ones for $20. You have to buy a $50 webcam from Nintendo.
No way. You have to get the webcam?
Yeah, you got to get the well, you don't have to make it work, but the functionality is like, okay, well now they're going to put your face next to your little character. And I think there was some added stuff.
Okay, but you don't have to get it to make the game work.
That would be crazy. I hope they do it.
I don't hope they do that.
I mean, PlayStation and Xbox tried that, and it didn't
Yeah.
go well for them.
Remember the Kinect?
Yeah, I remember that. And we had one. My family had one, and it was bad.
Yeah. And then oh my god, the Joy-Con functionality that they're touting, the extra thing that they do is you can actually use them as a mouse now.
Why would you want to?
Yeah, that was everyone's first thing is like, okay, but why? Nobody asked for this. And that's a lot of what Nintendo does. A lot of it is like innovation, but like why? And some of it sticks, some of it doesn't. That's not true. For motion controls and the Wii, that was huge.
I'm okay
screens.
with that. What I'm not okay with is the mouse thing. It's meaningless innovation.
Yeah.
That's a stupid gimmick.
Gyroscopic technology in handheld controllers has been like their big thing, and now they made it into something that you put on a flat surface, and it's a mouse now. Like what? That seems backwards, but whatever.
Counterpoint: this opens up the possibility of porting Baldur's Gate 3 to the Switch, which I would love to play Baldur's Gate 3 as a portable game.
That would be pretty cool. As far as like the initial question that you posed, I don't think I would categorize it as a cash grab. I think I would categorize it as a software company trying to push their hardware as something that is comparable, at least in America, to the two powerhouses that are the gaming community. I don't know if it would be a value proposition. I think it depends on the user. Like, not everybody's going to care about it being portable or a handheld. I mean, so I mean that's a huge thing with the Switch. So like, if that's not something you care about, then that's like a huge devaluation of that console for you. So I don't know. It's controversial.
Yeah, it is. It is in fact controversial. I just wanted to clear the air with some facts. We could look at it and then kind of get an idea of where we stand on whatever side it is. And for me, I still think it's a pretty good value. I do actually value portable gaming for one reason or another. Sometimes I'm out of the house and I'm just not going to be doing whatever it is that I'm outside of the house for, or maybe I'm traveling. For me, that's a big thing. So portable gaming is pretty cool for me. I know we all have mobile phones. You all have mobile phones, don't you? From Diablo Dev.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
Phone.
But I don't know, mobile gaming. It always feels like discounted gaming to me. Unless it's on the Switch.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, this has been the meat of the episode, so we'll put a poll in on Spotify for this segment with the question: do you think it's a cash grab, or does it present value to its consumer?
So, follow-up question: do we want to do the next segment?
That's a fantastic question. This is definitely the part that gets cut as we talk about this on the recording. Let us know what you think about a single segment format if you are a longtime listener. And,
we're talking about you, Max.
Yeah.
And
you
also,
too, Miguel.
Doug Bowser said he's going to join us on Humor Highwire if we all purchase a Switch and hit 30 million followers.
Uh-oh.
That is totally doable. So let's just get it done, guys. Let's just get it done. But until then, I hope you guys have a good rest of your time of day. Have a good week if you're a regular listener. And if you never listen to this show again, have a nice life. Goodbye.
I'm accepting donations.
Welcome.
Hooray!
We're still recording.
We are still recording.
Welcome to Humor Highwire.
Perfect. All right. Bye for real, I guess.